Hi, my dear Astro family. Today, I would like to make a very special video, which is going to be about the upcoming Pluto and Sun conjunction. This is typically something I would not discuss because this transit lasts for about 2 to 3 days, maximum 5 if we really give a bigger orb. But this one is really special. Why is it so special? It's because Sun and Pluto haven't met since 1797 in the sign of Aquarius. So obviously, this is going to be a huge marker. On top of that, there is going to be two meeting points between Sun and Pluto. One is on 29 degree of Capricorn, and the other one is on 0 degree of Aquarius. So basically, Pluto and Sun walk hand in hand into the sign of Aquarius together, only 10 hours apart from each other. So this is going to be a huge change. So I decided to try to break it down for you. Now, this has been something, or this is something I mentioned already a few weeks ago when I was interviewed by Lada about the Uranus-Jupiter conjunction. And I thought this was going to be something I wanted to discuss in detail anyway for with my audience as well, because this is surely will be bringing major radical changes. So hopefully you will listen till the very end. Now, before we get into this topic, two announcements. One of them is that I have got a special promotion running currently. Basically, I would like to wish everyone a happy Christmas. And I decided to put everything on 50% off, including all my personal readings, webinars, courses. This promotion is going to be ending on the 26th of December at midnight, Hungary, Budapest time. So please do your time converting if you want to grab this opportunity. I've got openings for personal readings, unfortunately, only in the middle of February. I'm fully booked until then. So if you would like to grab your spot, go on my website and check it out. The other announcement is that I have the medical course starting on the 6th of January. That's going to be discounted as well now, just only for 2 days. So if you would like to grab your spot, go ahead, book it in, and hopefully you will enjoy this 15-week course, which is going to be giving you plenty of information about mental health, physical health, emotional health, and so forth, along with some remedies as well. Now, let's get going with this upcoming Pluto-Sun conjunction or Sun-Pluto conjunction. So, as I mentioned, this is a very special one because we have not had this since 1797. So, on January 20th, Sun and Pluto will be making their conjunction on 29 degree of Capricorn. Very interesting that the moon is going to be on 29 degree as well in the sign of Taurus. So we've got a very strong trine happening between sun and moon. Then they move into the sign of Aquarius together on the 21st of January, just 11 hours apart from each other. So sun is going to be ingressing into the sign of Aquarius first. 11 hours later, Pluto will be making the move as well. Very interesting, right? Because we've got 29 degree and we've got the 0 degree. So something is about to end and something new is about to come into our life. And how are you going to be dealing with this change? Remember, Pluto is about change. Often this is a painful change as well. So how it's going to be manifesting in your life is most likely dependent whether you are ready to embrace that change. Now, remember, Pluto has been in the sign of Capricorn since 2008. Capricorn is the final earth sign. Earth is connected to money, finances, establishment, but also it can be something to do with how we work, how we manage our staff members, or something to do with the hierarchy, government, or just the structure of our government works, for example. Pluto wanted to change all of those. On a personal level, Capricorn is about commitments, something to do with your status, what you want to build in life, And often Pluto is the demolisher. So comes around and then starts demolishing things because it's outdated, for example. Now, I did make a video about Pluto on energetic degree, so you might want to be revisiting that. And I also mentioned some of the sensitive degrees that are connected to Capricorn, because some of the bigger planetary cycles started in the sign of Capricorn, such as the Saturn-Pluto conjunction that took place in 2020, January the 12th, happened on 21 degree of Capricorn, but we had the Jupiter-Pluto conjunction as well on 24 degree of Capricorn. And anyway, other cycles started in the sign of Capricorn as well. So those are sensitive degrees. And now Pluto is going to be moving away from Capricorn. It's going to be coming back into the sign, into this sign, something to do with the second part of 2024. And then finally, it makes its move into the sign of Aquarius. I will be making a video about this movement anyway, in the second part of January, because most likely it's going to be a good 2 to 3 hour kind of webinar or lecture on Pluto in Aquarius, so that I can break it down as much as I can for you guys. Now, Sun, whatever it touches, it highlights something. So because it's going to be, the first conjunction is going to be happening on 29 degree of Capricorn, of course, it's going to be highlighting something in regards to politics, shedding a light on what needs to be done, what needs to be finished, what needs to kind of let gone in a way in the sign of Capricorn, in the area where Capricorn is in your chart. And then, because they ingress into the sign of Aquarius together, what area of life you can start something fresh? 29 degrees about endings and 0 degrees about new beginnings. Now, as I mentioned before, Pluto will be back in the sign of Capricorn. So this is just a peek into what you can achieve or what needs to be left behind, maybe in the next 1 year, maybe a little bit of a spring clean that needs to be done. It is going to be showing you what is possible, what needs to be cut out of your life, but it might be a little bit of a longer process. It might take until 2025 February to finish anything off. Now, it's very possible, for example, if we start putting the archetypes together, Pluto, which represents change, and the sun is, for example, a political figure. So maybe we are going to be seeing big announcements of someone resigning from their position, for example. But also this could talk to us about a death of a political figure or a king, basically. But it could be a very cathartic, is that how we say it anyway? It could be quite a interesting period where something is going to be breaking down in your life. I mean, Pluto tries to break down something. So it is demolishing something in your life. When it comes to your status, this could indicate that you are going to get forced, for example, to start a new career path. Yes, remember that the conjunction happens in Saturnian signs. So often we feel very strong resistance to these changes as well, especially with Pluto. And the more we resist to change, unfortunately, the bigger our kicking energy this Pluto sun becomes in a way. It could look very different, or at least the experiences could be very difficult at the beginning. And we try to resist the change at all costs. But actually, Pluto's remedy is to embrace the change and to look forward to what the future is about to bring for us. It's about the acceptance of transformation. This could, for example, indicate certain bits and bobs like, you know what, we might not be seeing this transformative energy straight away because Pluto is the underground planet, right? So the sun is trying to highlight it. Sun is the light, Pluto is the darkness. So maybe things are happening at the background and we won't be seeing them maybe until Sun is going to be in the sign of Aquarius again in 2025, or when Pluto finally or gracefully moves into the sign of Aquarius again just at the end of 2024. We are talking about two power giants. I mean, the sun is the light of the sky, and the Pluto is actually the ruler of the underworld. So it's the clashes of kind of like, let's say, political figures and the mafia in a way. This is maybe one of the ways how I would actually explain that. Um, so it could also indicate that you can be very consumed with trying to gain power, let's say, over others, over your bosses, and so forth. But also, this could talk to us about what is your relationship with the manipulative side of you, or who is trying to manipulate you, who is trying to disempower you. Why am I talking about disempowerment? The reason why I'm talking about disempowerment is because the second conjunction is going to be happening in the sign of Aquarius, and that is the sign of rejection. So I would like to show power, but unfortunately, no one necessarily notices my power. Also, this is definitely an indication that you need to get in touch with your inner light. It is about how to boost your ego as well as how to boost your own vitality as well. There is an element of realization here of your path. There is an element of need to recognize a futuristic trend that can become, for example, a possible investment opportunity for you. It's very possible that governments are going to be making big announcements. As I said, maybe a politician is going to be stepping down. Maybe it's just going to be coming to light that there were some new orders made by some of the politicians, such as, and was a secret in a way. But also very interesting that the Sun-Pluto conjunction is going to be taking place where the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction happened in 2020 December. So on a personal level, if you planted the seeds there, maybe it was a new business cycle. Saturn-Jupiter often talks about business cycles. If a business cycle or a business happened or started around that period of time, actually the Sun Pluto conjunction could indicate that the CEO will be changing, or actually that a company might go busted as well. Or maybe some of the conversations you had in 2020 December, maybe 2021 January, that is going to be somehow exposed. Imagine that a email is going to be leaked out, some type of very important, delicate information that is going to come to light somehow. Pluto always tries to demolish something. And the sun is government, political figures, kings. So it's about how to bring someone down. It could indicate major gossips or something which is going to be appearing on the internet. What comes to my mind is, for example, imagine around the elections in 2016, when all of a sudden Hillary Clinton's email threads got posted on the internet. And so something like that we can expect with this as well. And then of course, it made me think as well that in 2024, we are going to be having elections in the US. And that Pluto Sun conjunction in the sign of Aquarius, Aquarius rules people. It's very possible that the results are going to be extremely shocking, or maybe the whole voting system is going to be changing, or there's going to be some type of scandal around the elections. The scandal comes from the fact that it's Aquarius, and Aquarius can represent criminals, but overall just chaos and scandal. It could represent the death of a politician or a death, unfortunately, of a movie star or a singer. and so on. But most importantly, on a collective level, we're going to start noticing a major shift in the world. It can indicate how Pluto is trying to destroy the ego. Pluto, by the way, talks about finances, wealth, the rich people. So it maybe some of the richest people of the earth is going to be in the news somehow. They are going to be a major topic. I would say that the topics might be revolving around the top 1% of the population, basically the richest people. But Pluto, Sun, Capricorn, Aquarius is a financial sign because it's a fixed sign. It really brings in the topics of banking, money, and maybe tax related matters as well. So what I'm thinking is that maybe, obviously, there's going to be new announcements about a new currency is coming in, or maybe a bank is going bankrupted, or a bigger company is going bankrupted, and so forth. But definitely some technological advancements, some scientific research that might get released as well around this time. And maybe it's connected to UFOs, for example. So evidence that the UFOs are existing. Something major. That is basically what I'm trying to say. Now, the dispositor of this conjunction is either Uranus or Saturn, depending on you whether you use modern rulership or traditional rulership. I would say that Saturn is a little bit more on the personal level, and Uranus is more on the collective level. Now, very interesting that Uranus is on 19 degree of Taurus. And the reason why it's interesting is because we had a new moon happened in the sign of Scorpio on 13th of November 2023, and that was on 20 degree of Scorpio. So that new moon was very tightly opposing this 19 degree point here. And of course, Uranus is in the sign of Taurus, so that's about investments, money, currencies, so this could show a major, huge crash, or it can indicate a significant increase of certain type of stocks. Go back and have a look at your stock around the 13th of November, what happened to them, and because that Uranus can be completely knocking it out. So I looked at what happened on 13th of November just to get a bit of an idea. And David Cameron came back as a foreign secretary, um, which I found very interesting. So it might be related to him. Maybe he's going to be popping up on the news around this time, or maybe he is going to be dismissed, or he's going to be resigning from his position. But also Donald Trump's defense at his civil fraud trial in New York started on this day as well. So actually, maybe how corrupted the trial was, or something around this could be on the forefront of the news. But on that day also, there was a possible looming volcanic eruption in Iceland that led to evacuation. So that's possible that it brings maybe a little bit of quite a major natural disaster, I would say. And the other thing, which I found very interesting, that the IRS announced new tax brackets for 2024 with bigger standard deductions, which is supposed to allow most Americans to hold on to more of their income to keep up with the inflation. I mean, first of all, of course, it could make big announcements that they're going to lower certain type of prices or they increase the salary, right? Because Sun and Pluto conjunction on 29 degree of Capricorn could be the realization, how hard people are working for their little money and therefore, "Ooh, let's increase salary." But we are not looking at how much the cost of living is actually changing and how big the inflation is, right? So that's something which might be important to mention here. Surely, Pluto-Sun conjunction will bring drastic changes in our life directions. Maybe you are going to be making new friends and getting rid of the old ones. Maybe you seeded something around the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction and you want to take that a lot further, or maybe it's a complete closure of that period and you want to be starting something completely fresh. What comes to my mind when I think of Sun and Pluto conjunction is kind of like a little bit of a puppet show. There is a puppet, and actually, that is getting, played by someone else. Someone is who is pulling the strings. So the major question could be here, who is really ruling the world? Is that Pluto or the Sun? Who is working behind the scenes? And on a personal level, this might be asking you to look at whether it's you who is running the show here, or is it going to be your fears? As I said, the very last conjunction between Sun and Pluto in Aquarius happened in 1797. So surely this is a major change. And if you want to do something with this, what I would say is that it would be very important to start planting the seeds and having a look at what needs to be changed. What needs to be changed in your life? That would be one of the number one priority here. Sun is trying to spotlight your fears, your obsessions, but also it's trying to shed light on your potentials to make a wealth for yourself. And in the sign of Aquarius, of course, I cannot forget that it might be something to do with AI, internet related opportunities. The sun represents the function of the ego, right? And the Pluto is transformation, power, death, and rebirth. So, what is the most important here is that you put your ego aside and you allow the change to actually enter your life. I think this is the number one message here. I think breaking down certain type of structures, old belief systems are extremely important. Of course, it's a conjunction, so there is an element of togetherness going on between these two planets. They need to work together if we want to make a huge change. I would say that the Pluto Sun is very much about the universal structure on the 29 degree. Um, so this could be, um, the changes of your personality, changes of your focal point in a way, but also, unfortunately, this could talk to us about the changes of our, you know, I mean, not necessarily unfortunately, but this could talk about the changes of style of parenting as well. So maybe a new research is going to be shown that the way we raise kids is not necessarily the greatest in a way. So these two planets need to work together. It's good to be sitting down in January. I would say that this could be a great New Year resolution day around the 20th of January, 21st of January, and start something completely fresh around that. The Pluto Sun is catalyzing. It's about empowerment. It's about a psychological shift. And in Aquarius, which is networking, in a way, what type of support we receive. So I would say that we're going to have to look around whether the people we are surrounded by are actually the right people, or are we hanging out with people who are bringing us down? And maybe we want also to be aware of that. Pluto transits are always important. So when it hits a personal planet of yours, that's minimum of 18 month, uh, 18 month. So it's never it is something you cannot get rid of, surely. Also, Pluto is control. So are you trying to control your future? Maybe it is telling you to look at whether you've got some selfish reasons to do something. What do you need to eliminate in your life? What type of powerful connections and forces you have to create? Do you have the right attitude and the belief systems to actually move forward in your life? Are you on the right path? Or are you actually working on your soul's evolutionary process as well? I think these are some of the questions which you have to truthfully answer. I think Pluto's sun is, it's a little bit of an interesting one. The reason why it's interesting is because sun is about individuality and it's about our needs and wants, especially our wants. With Pluto, we want to do some self-improvement, but it happens in the sign of Aquarius, which is others. So that's the challenge here where, you know what, shall I look at my own needs or do I need to be concerned about other people's needs as well? So how to find the balance there could be important. I think this conjunction is definitely talking about that the small changes we make, we're going to have a better future ahead of us and we can leave the world a better place than it was, for example, a couple of years ago or 3 years ago when Saturn and Jupiter conjunction started on 0 degree of Aquarius as well. You know what? I would call Pluto as the purifier as well. And this is the purification of your identity. This is the rebirth of you. There is a major chance for loads of you probably to make more money or to accumulate something in your life. And whether these are experiences that you want to be accumulating, you're going to have to look at where the Capricorn and the Aquarius cusp is in your chart. So it's just a short video about what this Pluto Sun might indicate for many of us. But what I'm recommending is watch out what is going on around 20th, 21st of January, and keep that as a very important sensitive degree of your chart, because whenever that is going to get triggered, that is going to become very important in your life. Of course, Mars is going to be triggering that around the 15th of February also, alongside with Venus. So I find that also very interesting that we are going to be having a Venus. I mean, Mars is going to be moving into the sign of Aquarius first, and that's going to be happening on 14th of February. And we're going to be having a Pluto-Mars conjunction. And then Venus joins straight after around the 17th of February. So we are going to be having a stellium in the sign of Aquarius around that time. Pluto, Venus, Mars, Mercury, and the Sun as well still. So that could be something that might be revealing. Unfortunately, surely that could bring some type of confrontations between countries as well. And then when I'm still looking at when things are going to be getting triggered in that department, and typically I would say that you're going to have to be looking at squares and oppositions. Of course, the sun is going to be on 0 degree of Taurus on the 20th of April 2024. I find it also very interesting, by the way, because that's when we're going to have the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction on 21 degree, 48 minutes on top of my head. So it somehow brings up the topic of Pluto and Sun conjunction also. So I mentioned this in the Jupiter and Uranus video as well, that I think Jupiter Uranus can make people rich, but then shortly after there might be certain type of challenges also. So that's something to watch out for. Whatever goes down around 20th of January, 21st of January, it gets somehow highlighted also in April as well. And of course, we're going to have a stellium happening in Taurus in the entire April and May. So that might become a very important trigger point there anyway. And then straight after Jupiter will be making that trine, but I made a video about that to Pluto, so I'm not going to be talking about that again. So guys, just a short video about the Pluto Sun energy. Actually, a couple of other things that came to my mind, because this could also talk to you about physical strength and mental strength as well. Often the changes are, of course, mentally or physically disturbing to us. So this is telling you to somehow gather your own strength. This is also talking to us about the creative power of ours or the consciousness or the objectives what you have, as in Aquarius, which is very much about your long-term goals. Where do you want to be in the next 13 months? Because Sun and Pluto energies are happening approximately about every 13 months. Also, Aquarius is about innovation. So can I appreciate the new technology that is coming around? Most likely around 20th, 21st of January, some technological advancements are going to get uh, announced, which might be quite shocking. People might not like it, or people will love it. Or it could talk to us about the way how we want to exercise our power. That's where the manipulation comes into the picture, right? With Pluto, especially. And usually we want to be exercising our own power because there is no confidence level behind it. And Sun is confidence alongside with Jupiter, but also the fixed signs are so much to do with your own stability as well. So this is the stability of the ego here. You know what? Also interesting that Sun and Pluto, from a medical point of view, this could talk to us about the regeneration of the cells. The Sun could be one of the indicator of your life length. So maybe, there is going to be new methods introduced in the next 1 year about how to prolong your life or how to revive the cells of the body. But Pluto and the Sun, by the way, could talk to us about swellings as well. Or like the Sun, swelled ego, swollen ego, right? So it could show some type of swellings within the body also. Um, for me, Sun and Pluto in the Aquarius is the fighter, the promoter. It's someone who is fighting, for example, for social justice or against certain type of rules. And yes, unfortunately, this could show that people are going to feel rejected, that their needs are somehow not validated by others. So, of course, that's when things happen, such as demonstrations and so forth. Positively speaking, this is some sudden advancements in your life. And that's what I am the most excited about, that it looks to me that there is a shift in the consciousness, in the human consciousness. So let's hope that we can actually make that happen in the next 1 year. Thank you, everyone, and see you soon. Bye bye.